Hi, Financially Healthy here, one word. That's the name of my channel. I'm Marlene, and I'm here to talk to you about money and marriage. First thing first, before you get married or have a significant partner that you plan to share your life and finances with, you should have the talk before you start living together or get married or even get engaged. You may find one of you is a spender and one of you is a saver, or you're both spenders, but one not quite as bad. You will find out a lot of things. One may be more in debt or in a lot of debt, while the other one chooses to live debt-free and will work on that as much as they can. Well, let's talk about, okay, you've had that conversation. So you're opening the door. This is how our partnership, our marriage is going to work as a partnership when it comes to money. Money and finances ruin marriages. 35% of the marriages that are end in divorce are usually caused by money issues. Now, that you might say, wow, but that means 65% of them are caused by something else. So, you know, I know. But that's if I could tell you, oh, I know how you can remove 35% of the stress and what will cause you a divorce in your marriage, you would take that advice, I hope. I really, really, really hope you would. Um, when we think of a good marriage, we know that it is built on a lot of things. And trust, a foundation of trust, loyalty, respect, and mutual goals. If someone, if you decide you want to have children, that would be a mutual goal. And many fail to apply the same things to their finances. They just believe that's a secondary thing. But actually, that's one of the main things that you must think about. In 2015, a survey by SunTrust Bank said 35% of married couples named many of the causes of the um, problems in their relationship were stress from money. You have to, the first advice, and this will continue through all of the advice issues I give you, is you have to learn how to openly and honestly talk about money with each other. If you cannot do that, it's going to flare up. It's going to cause resentment. And we'll talk about those things. A truthful conversation, and not a hostile one, it can release a lot of the stress and the burden. Um, you will then know, where are we actually at when you pull out all your bills and you get a good financial picture of where you are. Now, some people suggest you get a financial advisor to help you with this, a third party who is not associated with it. Um, I'm not sure. You'd have to check your state, but often there are free credit counseling services, and that would be a third-party person. Not going to help you with your marriage issues, but they could help you with your financial issues, which could put less stress on your marriage issues. And there's always the counselor, the marriage counselor. They won't help you with your financial issues, but they might get to the root of why you have them, and why you shouldn't. So let's try to sit down and have an open and honest talk, and you will see each and every one of these can be avoided with open and honest talks. When you have a mutual foundation, you know where you're going, and you have mutual goals, that should apply to your finances also. Both or one of the spouses spends secretly. They either have a credit card or bank account that the other spouse does not know about. And that's just setting yourself up for a big fight and maybe a divorce. When this happens, that is somewhat of financial infidelity. And that can really put a marriage under stress. Once again, we come back to the issue. Money is not always oh, wow, let's have a money talk today. No. But, can we discuss a few things? Is there anything you want to tell me? Um, you might find you both have that. And it's just, that's in somewhat, I consider that infidelity because you're hiding a secret. You are putting something above your spouse or your partner, and you really shouldn't. And you can get better with it if you come clean about it and stop hiding the secret. You're only as sick as your secrets. Um, some husbands don't handle their wives making more money than them very well, and that is something that can also come out in a conversation. Possibly a husband feels a little less manly or whatever. I don't know. I think most husbands be like, yeah, she makes big bucks. She brings home the bacon. But if she makes more than them, it might be like, they have the mindset subconsciously that it's a power thing now. She has more power. And then if she is if your wife is working or your significant other is working, and she's a female, is she still doing about 80% of the household chores, or are they split? Because that can lead to exhaustion, resentment. That really has to do with money because A, she's working, and B, she's coming home and working. And possibly she's putting in a 18-hour day. So split up the housework too, because if you have the mindset of, oh, she's making more money than me, you might have an old time mindset that the household duties, the children, if there are any, are all her responsibilities. Hey, that can lead to a lot of resentment. But if some, are you living above your means? A lot of people think they're making it because they're just breaking even at the end of the month, but they have no savings or they have overspent. They're living above their means. You have to talk about this. You have to decide. We cannot live above our means. That's where a budget comes in. Once again, another point in your marriage where you have to talk. It's an uncomfortable conversation, but a budget comes in. Why are we living above our means? Why are we just breaking even? Why are we overspending every month, which will only lead to disaster? As we see, our jobs are not stable. Our whole way of life right now is not stable. Some people will end up being a single spouse because of this, not just because of divorce. So if you don't have that little bankroll put away or whatever, and even if you do, you're doing some things right. But sit down, make a budget. That's an open way of talking about money. You're not going to get it right the first month. You're not going to get it right the second month. It might take you 6 months, but each month, or if you have to do it every 2 weeks, sit down. You're going to have an ongoing conversation about where you are financially and where you want to be. And you want to start saving because, as we are currently seeing, nothing in life is guaranteed. Okay. And you're going to okay, here's another one. One of the spouses does not have a good work life balance. And it's usually men who are working too much, and then the other spouse feels neglected or alone or whatever, which can lead to other things. But sometimes it's women too. Do you have the right work-life balance? Or are you spending more time at your office or at your job or getting overtime? That's, when you get the budget, you will see Maybe you don't need that much money. Maybe you can get by on less if you go to bare bones or whatever. Money will not buy you happiness. Money is not evil either, but you have to sit and have the talk. Every one of these things can be solved with a calm and quiet, understanding talk. Even when people are, like really not good at spending. That's another thing. If one of you is a total spender and the other one is a saver or not quite as much of a spender, you're putting that other spouse or partner in the realm of the financial police. And then you're seeing an unbalance in your relationship because now you have this spouse saying, why can't, why are you spending this money? And you're having to say, I know, I did it. I'm sorry, it won't happen again. But that only flies for so long. This partner decides they don't want to be in a relationship that is more like a parent-child relationship. And that can also lead to divorce. If you're not responsible and someone has to keep calling you or running your feet over the coals, you may be the one to leave if you're the spender and just say, I don't want to be like that anymore. Couples argue about money. It doesn't matter if they have a lot or not enough or whatever. Sometimes arguments about money are the worst arguments, and they're often not always about money. As we pointed out in some of the other points, maybe the husband feels neglected because you're spending too much time at work, or the wife feels neglected because you're spending too much time at work. But money causes arguments. So that's why an ongoing conversation about it is the best way to do it. That's why you have your budget and you're going to work it and see if it's working and fix where it's not working. But you're going to start talking and you're going to make an effort together. Because apart, it will lead to divorce. And there's a saying, and it's not a nice one. Marriage is grand. The divorce is about 50 grand. And they're showing that after this quarantine that we're having, where we're socially distancing, or maybe couples are working from home together, they are finding in China, when the lockdown came down, there was not a baby boom. There was actually people racing to divorce lawyers. Right now is a very hard time. You may have not been perfect before. You're not going to be perfect in the start. You're never going to be perfect. But you're going to do better. And you're going to have less anxiety. Anxiety, if you are a secret spender or you're just an overspender, anxiety is in the back of your mind. And that's stopping, putting up a wall between you and your partner. It doesn't have to be there. You don't need that wall there. If you don't have anxiety, oh, when's the next credit card bill going to drop? And I don't know if I can make my gas and electric because they did overspend. Oh my goodness. Think of the stress and anxiety you can be without. And that's what I want you to be. I want you to be the best you. I want you to start saving. I want you to have learned things from what we recently went through. That living to the point where you're just breaking even without a budget, or you're actually spending more than you make in that month, is not the way to go. We have to start trying to be better with our money, and we have to have open conversations, and if we need a third party, we have to recognize that. Hey, take care. Just a little advice. I'm not married. Money was a problem then too. Wasn't a bad problem, but I mean, I'm going to cut that part out, I think. No, in every marriage, money is an issue, is all I'm saying. every marriage, money is an issue. Okay, take care, stay safe.